Hey guys, how are you doing today? Oh my goodness, we're at the end of the month. I can't even believe that it's almost October.
Very exciting because
Very,
I
very
like
exciting.
pumpkins.
Yes. No, so as people are logging in, I went to Sprouts today for lunch and I walked by like this fall themed-ish booth like in the middle of the area and I got myself pumpkin apple cider.
Ooh, yum.
And it was so good. It was perfect just to take to work and just like
Mhm.
sip on it as
Mm,
I was working today. It was fantastic.
nice.
We've got tons of people. We've got Lisa and Ellen and Jane. April, we've got Zarita. She says that she loved this book. She's already on
Mhm.
the third book in the series.
Wow.
Jane said that she didn't like it,
Oh no.
but April said that she read the entire series as arcs. Renee says hi. We've got Trish. Lisa, I really enjoyed the book too, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series. We've got Morgan. And thank you, Renee. This is actually like a long skirt that like even goes
Oh,
down. It's like high-low kind of thing.
nice.
It is so comfortable. So comfortable.
And it looks very fall, like fall
Yes, I was
leaves,
like
fall
in the fall
colors.
mood. I was like, I'm gonna wear my dark framed glasses, and yeah, I even had my hair like twisted back, but then like it didn't want to stay because it's the end of the day.
It's the end of the day. Yeah, my hair was much fluffier at the beginning of the day.
Your hair always looks amazing though.
Thanks.
KJ,
Oh,
hi.
yay.
Oh yay!
Very
All
cool.
right. So, while we start talking, how about you guys put in your star ratings for The Plot is Murder? What did you guys overall rate this? I am super super excited to find out how everyone overall really liked it.
Mm-hmm. And we can sum up the book if
Yeah,
you want.
yeah, yeah. Let's do that.
I don't care. Do you want to start or I can start?
Yeah,
Sure.
I can start. So I actually finished this book like 3 or 4 days ago, so I might not be as like prevalent in my mind, but we start out with our main character who has just become widowed. Her husband has passed away. I think it was from cancer.
I
He
don't
had
know if they said. They said
I
it
don't
was sudden.
Yeah, I don't know if they
I
said
think it was
either.
cancer. I think you're right.
Yeah, but passed away and Samantha her husband Leon and her had made these life plans that she was going to, with the insurance money, create and build a bookstore and
Mhm.
cafe and sort of really live their life's dreams. She realized that you can't take life for granted and you need to sort of take the life by the horns and create it yourself.
Mhm.
She is also an aspiring historical mystery author, is sort
Mhm.
of the vibe that I got. And one of my favorite aspects of the book was the fact that you also got her story, like what she was writing inside the story of the mystery, which I love. I love those kind of elements so much. But so she's opening her shop, and the very first night that she's there, a knock at the door happens. She opens up the door, and it is the realtor that sold her the building. It turns
Mhm.
out that he was kind of slimy, and he instead was trying to get the building back and tried to do a couple of underhanded things to her to get the
Mhm.
building. But she ended up hiring her sister, who is a lawyer, and they ended up winning. The next morning, she finds him dead in her garden in the back part of the property. And as the story unfolds, this not so bright police officer detective thinks that she is the one that has killed him.
Mhm.
And so she is trying to clear her name. Her grandmother, oh my God, her grandmother and her friends. Oh, the feisty older ladies. You guys, I just couldn't. I loved them so much. So they wanted to also clear Sam's name. And so Sam sort of goes on like these shenanigans with the older ladies, like going to the casino and different things like that to learn more about the realtor, to see who else would want to kill him. And it turns out a lot of people wanted to kill him. He was a slime ball. So we had his wife as a suspect. We had her boyfriend as a suspect. There was also his own uncle as a suspect, or both of his uncles were suspects. Was there anyone else that was a suspect?
I think that was, well, Samantha herself.
Yes, Samantha herself
that
was
was
a
pretty much
suspect.
mostly it.
But so the ladies just sort of like go out through the grapevine to learn all of these different things about, was his name Parker?
His name is Clayton Parker, but yeah, they were very organized and they like assigned roles and assignments to each other.
Oh, I loved them. I loved them so much. They all had like reach, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
And so the detective is named Brad Pitt. And so for sure, like, this is so cheesy, but they never say that name again. And he's definitely not like Brad Pitt. They have a nickname for him, which is Stinky Pitt. And so they just call him Stinky throughout the whole book. And he's not like the brightest guy. And so Nana Jo, who's her grandmother, is like this really feisty, like she's like Grandma Mazer from Stephanie Plum books.
Very much so.
A gun. And so her sister, though, is like the only sane one in the group, right? And she's always like, am I the only law-abiding citizen in this whole family? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. So, but basically, so the weird thing is, you have to know the background of the three brothers. So Clayton Parker, his dad dies like just suddenly from a stroke. And so he inherits the real estate agency. Now, the real estate agency had like no formal paperwork or anything, but supposedly his dad and the dad's two brothers, which are the victim's uncle, owned it together. And so it was kind of just understood that they would all kind of share it. But that's why he tries to get the property back, because he wasn't really supposed to do that. And that's why there's two uncles. So there's one that just got out of prison for armed robbery and killing somebody. And then he ends up dead later in the book. And then the other brother is kind of like, throwing shade on him and saying, oh, he's a big gambler, but really he's not the gambler. It turns out the uncle who said he was the gambler really is the gambler, and he's the one that's in debt and really needs all the money, which is secretly hidden inside of the building. So it's a little odd. I'll just jump to the end. So he's the killer. And the reason he's the killer is there's a gargoyle inside of the bookstore, but it's like way high up in the building. And I don't know why, like they had plenty of time. They could have just gotten the gargoyle at one point.
Right. I think that, like, to me, I think that was their like savings plan kind of thing. Like they only go and break a gargoyle if they actually need it.
Right.
And then Clayton was just kind of like, oh no, I sold the building and the gargoyle's inside.
But it seemed like when they didn't really say when they told him, but it seemed like he knew, and that's why he was trying to stop the sale. At which point, I feel like he could have just gone into the building before the closing date, right? Or even on the closing date, and been like, the gargoyle is not included. I don't know. And she probably
like no, like these are family heirlooms of some sort, or something like that. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that's missing is there's also this, so there's two side stories going on. So one is Dawson. He's a football player at the local college, and she almost kills him because she hears noises and she goes down to investigate. She finds him there. Apparently his dad beats him, and he's an abusive alcoholic, and this guy is like a rising football star at the college, but he doesn't want to go pro. He really likes baking, and so she ends up taking him in. It's so cute. And then he ends up baking for the bookstore for her.
Yes, I love it. That was like the teacher in me, because she was a teacher at the beginning of the book. You watch her retire from teaching and leaving the school, and like as a teacher myself, I was like, oh, just my heart. And then when she sort of like took him in as her own, it made me so happy. I loved that aspect.
And I really like how she ended up being friends with the wife of the victim. So at first she suspects her, and they have this like acrimonious back and forth because she's like, oh, she was cheating, which she was cheating with her personal trainer on him. But then they end up becoming friends, and she's like, she calls her at like 1:30 in the morning and stuff to like get clues. And so it's like a warm, touchy kind of
Yeah,
feel.
I feel like it's a budding friendship.
Yeah.
Like, it would be fun if that lady becomes Sam's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
think that would be a lot of fun.
So now we have this whole side story. So what I did when I took notes is on the left is the main story and on the right is the side story. So in 1938, at the Wakefield Lodge of Lord William Marsh, there is also a murder mystery. So she's secretly writing and she doesn't tell anyone. And the whole story of the murder inside historical England actually mirrors exactly what's happening. And the names even almost match. So the victim inside of here is Charles Parker. He's like some crazy American, and they're having a party. And so there's Lady Penelope Marsh and there's Daphne and they're sisters, and their father passed away, but his brother is a duke because he's the older one in the family. And so it's very prestigious, right, to be the niece of a duke. And so Daphne is the pretty gorgeous one, right? And Penelope's more like the smart, sassy kind of girl, but they're both in love kind of with the same guy. And so the guy is like grown up his whole life just being in love with Daphne. And so Penelope's like, you know what? Why don't we just pretend like we're dating to make Daphne jealous? Like that's the way to win her heart.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this fake romance trope going on. And then, of course, he ends up falling in love with Penelope and realizes he didn't really want Daphne. But because Daphne's been accused of murdering the American, she was told to go out to the English garden to meet him. And then when she gets there, she trips over his dead body. Then she's like, oh my gosh, you have to save me. And he's like, okay. So he offers to like not only confess to the murder in her place, but also to marry her just to like keep her out of jail. And so then you're like, oh no, but he's really in love with Penelope.
And Penelope is in love with him. And it's just like, I loved that aspect. Like I kept going, okay, I really want to stay with Sam. I was like, but I really, really, really want to go back to Daphne and like really see what's going on. Like I liked both.
It was like a legit, full-fledged, like written historical mystery that I actually liked, which is saying a lot because I'm not really into historical mysteries.
Yeah. I wonder if she has that aspect going through the rest of the books.
She does. So I have read all of the books except the 7th one, which isn't out yet. So I'm like in the middle of the 6th book, but she follows Penelope and Daphne through the whole thing, just like she does with Samantha and Nana Jo. So
that I can't wait to continue with this series.
It's so good. Like I just love this series. So, anyway, so the manuscript that she's writing, her grandma finds it, Nana Jo finds it, and she's like, oh, I'm going to read it. And she's like, oh, don't show anybody. But Nana Jo has it on her office desk at the bookstore. Stinky Pit, the detective, comes over and Nana Jo tells him to wait in the office. He sees the manuscript and he takes it as evidence because it does mirror the real life murder that's happening. And it's more evidence that possibly she killed him. So she's super upset and devastated by this. And that's just another reason why it looks like she might be the killer.
Yeah.
But I think we circled around. So Dawson ends up living above her garage. She has like a makeshift apartment up there that she just hasn't been using. So she takes him in, she tells his dad off, and like he just decides to stay there and everything is just happy.
Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good. And I just love the characters, love the dynamics, love just, I really like the diverse characters as well. And just, it was so fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Let's look at some of the comments. We've got, Lisa gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. Well, how many stars did you give it?
I gave every single book in this series 5 stars. It is by far my favorite cozy mystery series ever.
That I love that. Jane gave it 2. Zarita gave it 4 out of 5. Morgan 4 stars. Monique 3 stars. Trish 4 stars. Ellen 4. April 5. And 3. Renee 4. Amber says she didn't finish it yet, so she can't give it stars yet. That's perfectly fine. We've got T. Cora here. The older ladies crack me up. Yes, I love it so much. Sharon 3 stars. The feisty older ladies gave me life. I could not argue with that. I wouldn't be mad if there was a spin-off series with Nana Jo and her friends. Yeah. So I love Nana Joe. See, those feisty ladies, we just gotta love them. The senior ladies seem like characters out of a sitcom to me. Maybe my family is sedate, but I don't know any senior women that act that way. I will
I
let
don't
you
either.
know I have 3 grandmothers who are still alive, and they're a hoot and a half. Let me just tell you, some of the things, especially as I got older and they were a little bit more liberal with the things that they said, like I'd sit there and go, did you just say that? Like, oh, okay. Like, my family is very out there. I'm tame compared to my family. I love how she adopted Dawson. It gave me all the feels as a retired teacher and mom. Yes. Took time to get used to jumping between the 2 stories. Yeah, if you're not used to that kind of plot or writing technique, I can see that. But I love books within books and mysteries within mysteries. So Lisa says that she agrees as well. So did you listen to them on audio, Lisa?
So only the first book is available in audio, and the rest of them, if you want to listen to them, you have to listen with Amazon Alexa,
Okay.
which I did, and they sounded great. Like a couple times, the word "read" was pronounced "read" instead of "read" or "read" instead of "read," but otherwise, it sounded perfect on both.
Good. Susan, I gave it 3 stars. I like the main story, but I'm not a fan of story within a story. It's okay if it's just a short part of the main story, but this one was too long. See, and that's the thing is like there's that's why there's something for everyone.
You know, it's funny. I'm the very opposite. So I remember in Ellery Adams' book, The Killer Plot, where she had just put snippets, and then I was annoyed because I was like, I don't want to read like some paragraph you think is amazing. I want the whole like enchilada. And so
Yes,
that's
in
why.
that one, like I wanted to know more about those fiery like it was the young girl, the youngest girl, the bartender story. Like I wanted her story to be written into a book.
Yes.
I didn't like the interruption of the historical mystery. I often skipped over it to get back to the main story.
You could do that.
I agree with the mystery within a mystery is great. I love that we get to keep up with the historical characters throughout the series. I am all for that, and I am already going to download book 2. 4 stars, surprised on how much I liked the 2 stories in the same book. Yeah. Amadaria, that's a beautiful name. It gave it 4 stars. That's good to know, Courtney. So you can relate very much so. 4 stars, and I love the old ladies. I wish I had their confidence. I think that comes with age, confidence. You stop caring as much of what other people say. I want to follow Dawson's character. Yeah, I hope that Dawson stays in the series.
He stays in the whole series, and in fact, book 2 is completely all about Dawson.
Yes! I'm automatically just like, that's going on my TBR.
And just spoiler, she does maybe find other strays children that she takes in.
Yes. All right. So one of the things that I loved that Lisa sent me is VM Burns actually has a list of the discussion questions to sort of like dive a little bit deeper. I know that we don't normally do discussion questions in our book club, but we really want to make sure that like we're keeping it new and fresh and just having fun with it. So owning a bookstore, it was one of Sam's dreams. What's one of your guys' dreams? Like, what's something that you would absolutely love to do, but you're maybe you don't think that it would happen?
Yeah.
What about you, Lisa?
I mean, I'm older, so I'm doing all the things I was afraid to do, which is write a book. I've never wanted to join the circus. I think that's pretty much it. What about you?
To be a published author would be
we're the same.
Yeah. To be able to no longer have to work for someone else, but be able to be home and just write and take care of my baby. That would be the dream, to be able to live that way and not like live paycheck to paycheck or anything like that, but to actually have it be a career would be something that would be pretty nifty.
I will say too, I think the reason I enjoyed this book more was because I went to college at St. Mary's of Notre Dame, which is right in the center of everything she's talking about. Like in future books, they go to Tippecanoe, which is like the fancy restaurant in South Bend,
Okay.
Indiana. I never went, but like all the places she describes and how far long it takes to get to Chicago and everything, like I knew all of the locations. So
See,
very
that's
accurate.
awesome. Being able to like actually picture what it looks like. That
Mhm.
I love that. Annie says that I wish I had studied set design in college and followed a career in the movie business.
Set design.
That would have been a lot of fun. Um, April, I agree, Lisa. Being older, I'm doing the things that I wanted, but I would love to own a yarn store and bookstore. And I really want to finish this nonfiction book that I've been working on for a while. Ah,
So many authors in the group.
right? Lisa, I'm retired, getting to travel with my husband, so I'm living the dream. I love watching your life on Facebook. Sell my belongings, buy an RV, and live a nomadic lifestyle with my husband and my 2 boys. Hey, that's becoming more and more feasible to be able to do with those. I follow a couple of people on TikTok that like are turning in school buses into like these chic,
Mhm.
beautiful, like apartments
Like
on
a tiny
wheels.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them are
Um,
like really nice too.
like, oh goodness, yes. I'm still trying to figure all that out, but I can almost guarantee it's not here in Indiana. Yes. If I could 100% live my dream, it would be to write and live in Oregon. I
Oh, Oregon.
I despise Oklahoma.
Oh no. You mean like Eugene, Portland?
Like near Ashland, Oregon.
Oh, I've actually never been to Oregon. I mean, I've been through the airport, but never like hung
Yeah,
out.
I'm hoping that Aaron and I can make a trip next summer with Alex to see
Nice.
if it's as beautiful as I've always dreamt that it would
Mm.
be. Jane, being able to travel to see my nephews without worrying about work or money.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Do you want to pick a question?
Okay. What do you think about Sam's 2 dogs, Snickers and Oreo? We didn't talk
I
about the dogs at all.
Yes. Okay. I love the fact that they are vastly different personalities. That
Mhm.
like one is super, super chill and just like go with the flow and can sleep in the bedroom with her. And then the other one's like this anal retentive, like I have to be constantly going, 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 going.
Yes.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, I had to put notes down because I was getting confused. But Snickers is the one that wants to sleep with her,
Hmm.
but he's not in morning dog, so likes to sleep in. And then Oreo is in the crate. And I can't remember honestly which one is the girl and which one's the boy.
I do not remember.
Yeah. But they're
I
both
don't
poodles.
remember. I love them. They were adorable. My family had standard poodles, and I loved them so much. My great granny, she had a teacup poodle named Penny, and she literally sat in my hand as a full
Oh.
grown dog. And she was very, very sweet and gave the best kisses and cuddles. And she lived to be, I think, 14.
Wow.
But yeah, she passed away, but she was the sweetest little girl. I loved her.
I don't think these were standards. I think these were mini
I
poodles
think
because sometimes
I
she was
think
like, she picked them
yeah,
up.
she picked them up. Yeah, on the cover of the book, they look like a standard size poodle,
Mhm.
but in like as she's describing them, they're tinier.
They're tiny. Well, also, if you look at her website, she has poodles, like tons
Mm,
of poodles, and they all looked smaller, like pick
yeah.
up poodles.
Lisa, I love furry companions. They kept her on her toes. I'm glad that when needed they can. Oh, they did. Yes, yes. I loved the fact that she was like, yeah, I'm not really sure if they would actually protect me if someone would enter, and
Right.
then like when someone actually did, like he went at it.
Mhm.
I loved that. Hey Brooke, so glad that you're
Hi.
here. Morgan, that makes sense. They totally look like standards on the cover. They
Right.
really do. Like I thought that they did, but yeah. So I always love having the puppers in there.
Mhm.
Um,
I think the only aspects of the book that I didn't like were, if I had to like criticize something, because I did give it a 5, is sticking their tongue out a lot. That just seemed like, I don't know, like not a mannerism I feel like adults really use, or
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
when the victim came by the door and he knocked and he's like, I want in, she stuck her tongue out at him.
She's like,
And then Nana Joe does the same thing too. And I was like, that's
mm-hmm.
very
I
odd.
wonder if that's like a family trait where like that's what they do.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to pick at anything in the book, I think that I don't know what I would necessarily. I think I wish that I don't know. I don't
Gambling.
know.
I'm not really a fan of gambling. So I understand
Yeah.
like old people like to go gambling, but I feel like, I don't know. I think any gambling, especially like in future books, like when they
Mm-hmm.
win something, it sends the wrong message. Like you don't have to work. You can just hope to win the lottery.
Yeah.
So I feel like it just contributes to like lottery lazies.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. My sister works at a casino, so it's sort of like I don't like going to the casino. Like I think I've only gambled maybe like 2 or 3 times in my life, and I've only put like $20 in the machine, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like,
yeah, I know that some people have an addiction. Whatever the addiction trait is, I have the total opposite. Like I get nothing from gambling. It just seems
mm-hmm.
kind of boring.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm about a third of the way through. I started a new job this week and haven't had as much time reading, but I'm really liking it, and I love the historical mystery woven in. So,
Congratulations on your new job.
yes, congrats. I thought for Sam, at least, the tongue out was the cozy version of the finger.
Oh, yeah.
I can totally see that. It may be a generational thing. My grandparents were very into getting lottery tickets and such. Yeah, I think so. I think that it's also there's not a lot of places where older generations can go and socialize as easily. It's not like they can just go to the bar and like socialize with their friends, and that's a way that they can socialize. Because my sister said that there's quite a few people who go to the casino just for like the buffet or for like the social aspect of it, and they don't actually gamble. So I'm not quite sure. I don't do it though. So
Yeah. Check back in with us when we're 70.
yes.
We'll let you know.
Like 40 years. Let me know. I'll let you know where I'm at in this. Let's see. Sam's grandmother, Nana Joe, got her started reading mysteries. Who introduced you to your first mystery?
That's a good question. I don't think anyone did. I think I just walked through the library. I found Nancy Drew, fell in love, and then there was like an entire like stack wall of those, and then next to it was the Hardy Boys, and then the Bobbsey twins. So
yeah, I just started. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I just started my collection of Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books, and I am so excited. I got 4 Hardy Boy books, and they're all pre-1970.
wow.
I am super excited. But for mysteries, I don't think anybody really like personally introduced me into mysteries. I remember devouring the Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, where they were their own detective agency. And so I devoured those like by the dozens. And then like hardcore mystery, I think it was my sophomore year, I took Brit Lit, and I actually read all of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Conan Arthur Doyle, and I absolutely loved it. Every single one of them. Like I still have my original books from that with all of my post-it notes and notes that like 16-year-old Courtney wrote in the book.
Wow. You must have went to a really advanced high school, because
yes,
you did not read any of that.
Yeah, I went to Tulsa School of Arts and Sciences, which is a college preparatory school. Like my graduating class was 79 people.
Wow. Was that, now did you have to go away for that and stay in a boarding?
No, it was actually it was in Tulsa, so I was able I had to actually, it was like a lottery draw to be able to get into the school at all. And so you had to have a certain GPA and everything, and a way to get into, like, go back and forth to the school and everything.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
It was pretty cool. I
That
liked
is
it.
very cool.
All right, let's see. We've got my mom is a pretty big reader, so not sure if it was her or just reading. Oh, good night, Trish. Bye.
Bye.
Brooke, I checked a Nancy Drew book out in middle school.
Nancy
Mr. Potts, our school librarian, introduced them to. I love that his name is Mr. Potts.
Yeah.
Started reading Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys. I just started reading Nancy Drew again. I've never read Nancy Drew, and I just started. I know, right? Like, how is that a thing for me? But yeah, never have read Nancy Drew. So I started the first book this week.
I've read every single Nancy Drew. I don't know if I remember them, but
I'm so excited. Fun question. My mom used to read Nancy Drew to me as a kid, and I have been hooked ever since. I collect Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys as well. Love the aesthetic. Yes. My cousins and neighbor read Nancy Drew and read Nancy Drew and lent them to me. But I started with Trixie Belden I got from Santa Claus.
Nice.
My 4th grade teacher did. He introduced me to Encyclopedia Brown. I loved him. Fell in love with the mysteries, true crime, and especially cozies.
I forgot about those.
Oh my God, yes. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. My grandma used to take me to the library all the time. We watched Murder, She Wrote together. I also had an anthology called Murder by Christmas.
Nice.
Trixie Belden, Nancy Drew fan also. I enjoyed some Nancy Drew, but later on I really got into mysteries written by Mary Higgins Clark and was hooked after that. Aw, Courtney and Spencer from Intentionally Bookish via Meet Your Baker. Yay! Anne Perry was my favorite for a while before I started reading other authors. I started reading Stephanie Plum. I love Stephanie Plum.
Love those books.
Then moved on to Hannah Swenson, and now I'm trying different mysteries. Good. I read Trixie Belden, Nancy Drew, and Hardy Boys, and then Encyclopedia Brown is also great. Very much so.
I don't think I never really got into Anne Perry. I know that they're very popular books, but they're just a little too serious for me.
Okay. I don't think I've ever read.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
They read a little bit more like literary fiction.
Okay.
In my opinion. I don't know.
All right. That's good to know. Sam's other dream was to write a British historical cozy mystery. How do you feel about the story within a story? I know that we've basically said that we really, really love it, which is really, really weird for me because 2 years ago, you asked me if I would read a historical cozy mystery, and I'd say no. Like, even though my degree is in history, it's in American studies, like, I think the thing that always got me mad with reading those is a lot of times the authors didn't do the research. And so I'd find a flaw and I'm like, no, that's not really how that would happen, or like that's not really how someone else would act. And then I'd get pulled out of the mystery, and then I'd get mad at myself because I couldn't enjoy the book because I was too busy picking apart the historical accuracies.
It's so funny you say that because I forgot we're both history majors. I also am not into historical mysteries, but not for the same reason. I just am not into them. I don't know. And honestly, your memory is way better than mine because when I read things, I'm like, oh, did that really happen? It could be totally like a fake made up person in history, but I'd be like, oh, new fact. Yeah. Like, I don't remember.
Well, and I graduated with my master's in 2016. So it wasn't too long ago that like I was really, really studying and writing 20-page papers and things like that. So it's still kind of fresh in my mind. But yeah, no, I can get like my teacher hat on and I'm like, did you get that site from Wikipedia, or did you actually go and get some other materials.
You know what, though? I do like reading Sherlock Holmes, and I like reading Agatha Christie. I just don't like reading books that are set back then that have been written
agree.
now.
Yes. No,
I
that
don't
is
know what the difference
that's
is.
totally different. I will read all of Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, love it. But it's when it's a contemporary author writing a historical fiction that
It's different, right?
it's different. I get judgy. I shouldn't get judgy, but I do. I do. Let's see. I love it, and I kind of want that story within to be a separate series that I can enjoy. I would agree with that. I love historical cozies, and I love the book within the book. Amber Scott, love historical cozies and fiction. Jane, I like Victorian mysteries, and Anne Perry was the best at writing in this time period. Good to know. I love the cozy within the cozy a wee bit more than the actual story. I will say that I did want to know more. Yeah. I've read others, but I have read her books several times. Okay. All right. Anne Perry's, yay. I've never been able to get past Anne Perry's past to read hers. What is that?
I don't know anything about
her
as a person.
Oh, okay. Let's see. My husband is the same way, Courtney. Historical inaccuracies really make him angry, even if they are super small. I know I should be able to look over them and just appreciate the storyline with which they are written, because it's the characters that matter. But my brain, I can't. I'm like, you couldn't have just Googled it, what it actually looked like or what actually happened. You can take some creative liberties with certain things, but if you're blatantly just knocking it, I can't do it.
Oh, you know what? I should say, even though I only spent a year in med school, when I read medical thrillers or anything medical and it's off, I do get annoyed. It takes me out of the story. I'm like, that's not true. That's not the right dosage.
Right? I'm just like, Morgan, y'all should look up Anne Perry's past. It's crazy.
Author drama.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna be like, Anne Perry.
Now
what's up with her? Oh, I love it.
But the rest of the books in this series are so good. Yeah, I can't wait until November 30th when that book comes out.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that we finally got a cozy that the majority of people enjoyed. Because it's been a little while since there had been a cozy that the majority of everybody could appreciate.
Yeah. There were a bunch of them that we were just like, sorry we picked that.
Yeah, oh.
The cover was so cute. We got fooled.
Yes, because with cozies, it is a lot of times for me, it's a cover buy. I'm like, oh, and that pun, I have to have it. Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Do you want to announce the book for next month?
Yes. Okay. So if you guys are following us on Patreon, you know that we had 4 different books. Our theme for October is baking. So our 4 picks were Cookie Dough or Die, Tastes Like Murder, The Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and Criminal Confections. And the one that won is Cookie Dough or Die. It is by Virginia Lowell. I think that's how you say it.
Lowell.
Yeah.
Which, again, did you pick it because you really liked the description or because you're like, I really love cookie dough?
Seriously. Yes to both.
All
right.
So we have a giveaway. Oh, sorry.
We do.
Yeah. So it's going to be book 2 in this series. So Kensington offered it up. So, hey, Google, hey, Google, pick a number between 1 and 15. Eight. Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Karen.
Yes, Karen. Are you still here? Because
Yeah.
if you're here, then we will give you a giveaway.
Yeah. Let us know if you want book 2. I can't remember. I think it was Jane who wasn't into this.
Yeah, book. Jane said that she did not like the book.
So is she still here? It's Karen, right? Let me write that down.
Right, Karen Burks. Are you still here, Karen? Yay, she's still here!
Yay! All right. Awesome. So Karen, email me your mailing address and we'll get it in the mail, which is just my name, Lisa@lisasecret.com.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited. So our next book club meeting, let's see, I'm getting my calculator out. It is October 27th.
Yep. And then we will be live again, though, twice more next month. Once Wednesday next week, same time this week, Wednesday, October 6th, we're going to do the VIP live streams. We're going to recap everything that we did in September and everything that we think we're going to do or hope to do in October. And then we'll be live. Well, I think it'll just be me live the 13th for a Paracozy book club where we're actually going to read Spelling the Tea with the author. So that'll be new.
Very, very cool. I love it. Well, make sure you're following us on Patreon so that you can vote and do. Lisa's been making these fun puzzles, and I will be putting out our next book club bookmark. I'm going to start designing it tomorrow now that I know what the book is. And so it's going to be a fun bookmark.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you hopefully next week if you're in VIP, and if not, the week after or the end of the month.
Yes. So good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.